Beep 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 beep. A Radio Stat Zero broadcast. All right, everybody, I've got some stuff to say, so let me just get another transition in here. Oh boy, I retweeted this earlier on today. Hey, J-Bot, welcome to the nest. Good to see you. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. We're all doing the head thing right now, he says. All right. What do we got here? Okay, so yes, I wanted to talk a couple things before, I got into the drawing and stuff like that. Talking behind people's backs, you know how it is. So I've noticed Kenneth Roquefort has been doing these draw streams lately. It's very, it's your basic draw stream. Like he's literally got a camera down, no music, nothing. It's almost like an ASMR, right? Like you get like you hear the rattle of the pens. And hey, Dave, welcome to the nest. Has been a while since I've seen you. Good to see you. Anyways, where was I going with this? Oh yeah. So Roquefort's got these. He's doing draw streams, which is awesome. He's done a few of them so far. Basically, what you get is what you see. He's drawing, and this was, I believe, today's, or yeah, earlier today. It was in the morning, earlier in the morning. And he sits in and he works on this stuff. And I couldn't be happier. I just wanted to talk a little bit about this on the channel here. Watching this stream, this particular one today, there are some things that I can tell you that I really love about watching him draw. One thing, confidence in line. It's one thing that's drawn me to him. It's drawn me to like Kelsey. Mandy, welcome to the nest. Always wonderful to see you. If you watch these, if you're an artist and you're watching these streams, or even just somebody that likes art, Dr. Crow, welcome to the nest. Happy to see you. You're gonna see like what he does is he will like kind of sketch out the stuff in light pencil and then go over it with like markers and then ink kind of on top. But what really struck me is just the confidence in line. It's you can tell he knows what he's doing because it's just like bam, right? And I think that's how you get a lot of life in your drawings. Like it's not always symmetrical. It's not always really right, but it has a flow and a life to it that you get to see like happen right before you, like blank page to a completed sketch. And this little one up here, I was sitting there thinking as I was watching the thing, like, boy, I wonder what Kenneth would look like doing more of a cartoony kind of thing. And it's like it was pulled out from the past and put there. He starts doing this and it answered my question I was thinking the whole time. That was a blast to watch. And great, turned out great. I love it. I loved watching how he layered the colors to kind of get these effects like we got here, like the brown, green, blue, and how he figured that out. I actually learned some stuff while watching this about, like, I don't use those markers, the ones he's got there, not the microns, the Copics, because boy, oh boy, are they expensive. You're talking like 25 of them or 12 of them is like a lot of money. They're like $7 a piece. Holy cow, $7 or $8, but they are refillable, so that's cool. I wanted to point that out. If you live or replay haven't been watching these, and if you're an artist, the cool thing is it's a lot like, you could turn that on and then just have somebody drawing with you while you're doing it. Turns your office or whatever into a bullpen, kind of. He very politely says good morning hello to whoever's coming into the chat. You'll hear kind of a or maybe a little note on what he's doing, like, hey, none of this is final. This is just some, there's the sketch, stuff like that. I like it. I find it to be kind of a relaxing stream. I know that a lot of people have criticisms about draw streams and how they aren't that entertaining or fun, but I think in terms of like the same kind of way you put like a fireplace on with some crackling stuff to kind of bring a little ambience to your room, I think a draw stream like this, it's like kind of inviting yourself or inviting Kenneth to draw with you, depending on if you're doing a replay or something like that. But I think it's awesome. I just wanted to say something on that for a second. Amanda says that Kenneth guy has some talent, except when drawing horses. I've never seen him draw a horse. I've only caught a couple of his draw streams, so I'm gonna have to go back and watch some more because, like I said, I like him. Michael DJ, welcome to the nest. When Kenneth said just a sketch, I thought, really? He's a master. I kind of wonder, like if he's putting this kind of just into like little sketches and stuff like that, how long it takes to do like a full piece, like even just by an 8.5 by 11 page of something that's kind of thought out, planned out. That would be something kind of cool to see, like even if it was a multi-part situation, sit and watch him work through a kind of a bigger piece or something like that. Heck, maybe you could auction it off for money after that. But yeah, I just like kind of hearing his little notes that it would be nothing, and then he would just maybe say like yeah, this is pretty good. Like, okay, this isn't final, but that's that. And then he ends it off with, well, thank you. Bye. That was great. I had a good time. So we got that. The other thing I wanted to talk about was Chad Townsend here. I saw this earlier today, and he just got his print. He got books back from the printer, Kid Squid and Black Phantom. And I mean, look at this. Now, before when I was talking about not process, format and how it can fit the story in the book, and I hope to see a lot more comics with all kinds of. Aaron's doing an 8.5 by 11. Chubbs, aka Carl Stefan, did that A4 size for Mary Boys, and I loved it. I can't wait for Aaron's. I hope to see more books that kind of fit with the story, like this Kid Squid thing. Let me just kind of show you what I'm talking about here. Let's go full screen. He's got. You can kind of see he's doing some kind of different page layout here. I like the two-tone kind of look. He's got some extras and stuff, but like right there, look at that, like 12 panel page, and you can go with that long. But I mean, I like it because it's like a bigger version of a comic strip. When you hold it up to read it, you go like left and take a long journey right, and then flip it over and do it all over again. I really like I'll call them landscape or letterbox comics. I think there is a lot of unexplored potential. And he did the thing where you make the cover vertical so that it works in a bag. I like that. I really like that. I was excited when I saw that. It inspired me some. I've been talking about doing a project like that for a long time, and I'm still thinking about it. It's Black Phantom, taking a look through that. He's got a little bit of color here, and then it kind of goes back. It must be like a flashback or something like that, but some cool sketching and stuff in the back. But dots of red, color here and there. So it's very much intentional, the black and white. And then I think it comes with an acrylic standee. So I'm really excited about that. The books look great. I'm glad I backed this one, especially right here, the Kid Squid. I'm really excited to take a look at. The animated style is cool. The landscape is cool, and I look forward to taking a look at those. All right. Well, hey, that was the talking behind people's back segment. So let's get right into the prompt here today. First one's first. Head Cheese Slicer was suggested by 10-8 Comics. Now, head cheese, I had to look this up. I wasn't sure if it was like brains or like something like that. It's a cold cut. It's a meat from a pig or calf's head. So basically, I suppose brains that is cooked and pressed into a loaf. It's a British term. brawn. So it's like a head cheese brawn cut like a meat or a jelly. This is a weird one. So it's gonna take a little. I should have laid this one out before we started, but I didn't. I was really excited to stream today too, because I was going to maybe do it last night, but there were a lot of streams going, Halloween streams. So I figure, what the heck, I'm gonna take the night off. I'm gonna hang out with my wife. We had a great time. She wasn't feeling great, but we still had a great time. So yeah, and then I took a look at a couple of the late night when my wife went to sleep. I took a look at a couple of streams that were going on. Nothing that interested me too much, but doesn't mean there weren't some fine programmings on last night. It's just, I guess I wasn't in the mood much for watching the streams. I saw a little bit of the it was going. There it is. I'm back. It's back. So Dave says, we would have watched your stream last night. Winky face. Thank you. I appreciate that. I didn't want to make people. I mean, you had like Pete Cimetti was going. You had who would you have? Pete Cimetti. I think there were a couple of the professionals were going with the game show. You had well, later on, Mandy and Shane. There were a lot of shows on, but it works out perfectly because I have to, because of the 20-hour limit I have with StreamYards, which, I mean, I could certainly pay for any time, but I kind of like it. I think it keeps me conscious of not trying to do like, oh my gosh, what the heck, let's do a 3-hour stream, let's do a 5-hour stream. I don't want to do that, but I mean, like the incentive. Well, regardless of which, if there's a time limit, it keeps me conscious of not spending an incredible amount of time, making it more special, making it more concise, controlled. So I like to kind of keep an eye on that. And it tells me, it helps me to kind of cut back. So I keep that 20-hour thing. So I have to cut out 3 days. So I've got Halloween yesterday. I've got Saturday, which is going to be the second run of our nominations for the award show. I won't be on mine, but I will be on, of course, on the chat. And working over there. And then I'll have one more day, or I can do just a couple of like smaller streams, like 45 minutes, an hour, or whatever. So I haven't figured that part out yet. Dave says we want our 5-hour stream. You don't. Nobody wants a 5-hour stream. Heck, that's half the complaints out there that I see. Like, the streams are too dang long. You don't want to sit for 5 hours. I don't even know if I could survive a 5-hour stream, not without other people in here, because talking for just even an hour and a half is It's that can be tough on the voice. 'Cause, as you know, I mean, I'm up here all by myself performing. I'm just trying my best for you people, you fine people out there. Now that I've kind of gotten a hang on this drawing and talking stuff, where I'm not. When I first started trying to do this, I can tell you it was a lot of like, yeah. Anyways, I was watching YouTube yesterday, and hold on, let me finish this. It's not good. It's not good streaming. It's terrible streaming, as a matter of fact. Like, when people come in expecting a conversation, and there's lots of as you're drawing. If it's a quiet stream, if it's a draw stream, that's one thing. When people kind of understand it, but there you go again. But like struggling through the entire thing it's not a great thing. Jbot says everyone was streaming last night. EVS and Liam were mending fences. Good stuff. I saw that. I saw just a moment of it. I just clicked in and I was like, are my eyes deceiving me? Is this Liam with Ethan again? And it looked like Liam was talking about how like Warner Brothers. He was talking about Warner Brothers or something like that, and then Ethan was just kind of listening. So I checked in on that, looked at a couple things, watched some professionals, and then I said, you know what? I'm gonna go say hi to my wife. I'm gonna go hang out with my wife. And I had a great time doing that. That's really important too. I can't be streaming all the time. Can't be on YouTube all the time. Because I have a lovely wife. So, of course, you want to pay attention to that. Marriage stuff, priorities. Bristolian Dave says, the Liam EVS thing is just going to turn into drama again. I'm not a betting man, but it's possible. Then again, maybe Ethan will just, like not have that on the, another person angry at him, and he'll just kind of let it be and let them go their separate ways. Oh, Dave says, look at me. We're your wife now. Holy cow. I'm not Mormon. I hate to tell you. I'm not a bigamist. I ain't got multiple. Okay, Dr. Crow says, right. You said hi to the wife. We all know what you did. You napped. Well, you don't know me. Huh. Well, eventually. Yeah, we sat and we watched. She wasn't feeling good, so I was trying to find a way to, make the night a little more special, because neither one of us are huge Halloween celebrators. So, but we did watch. We watched some Halloween episodes for different, sitcoms and stuff like that. Watch some of the. It really was great to see, look over and see her just big wide eyes, smiles. She's laughing at the jokes. I think it did better than, like, say, a horror movie where she probably would have just sort of been watching and maybe getting on her phone, sort of things. She was really invested, very happy, which made me happy. So that was a good night. It was a really good night, As a chef, I was thinking it was like, I was almost thinking head cheese was like, just another name for like just brains, because I've heard somebody say something like that before. Unsubscribe. No, I didn't say I don't like it's Halloween's. It's a funny thing for me because obviously when you're a kid you like it way more, and I'll watch some movies and stuff around Halloween, but there's just not a lot for me. Don't have kids, and I don't watch horror nearly as much as I used to. So it's kind of a, well, what do you do? Like, not much. Most holidays, I guess I don't celebrate as much as I used to. So there's that. but we did. We kind of did. We sat and we munched on candy, made some soup to make her feel better. Then, of course, we stupidly munched on candy bars, paydays, and 100 grands while we watched TV. But it was a good time. Bristolian says, Halloween is over now. It's time for Christmas. I suppose. I mean, as far as retail is concerned, you bet. My goodness, they had half their stuff up like halfway through October for Christmas over here. We'll put this arm in the background. I don't like that hand so much. So now there was something else I wanted to sit and talk about and address, and it's not in a dramatic way. But I went ahead and I watched. I was told about, I guess, on John Malin's channel, he EFAP'd the nominations stream for the awards. You know, our little for fun awards. Get them Christmas movies out. No, I don't want to do that yet. My wife has a very, very hard, fast rule about Christmas. Not until after Thanksgiving. I bought some eggnog, and she yelled at me. This was before Halloween. I bought some eggnog, and I got, you take that out of this house right now. No, it's not time for that. No. Of course, she didn't like eggnog either. She was joking with me, but J-Bot, who's doing these awards? I don't know where they came from. Okay, so give you a little backstory on this. Leroy, who used to kind of run the channel for the chat. Oh my, Amanda's putting her tree up this weekend. We usually get ours about a week or 2 weeks before Christmas. Yeah, we got that Thanksgiving thing first. That's for us. So we the awards. Yeah, that's right. So J-Bot, years ago, a guy named Leroy, he started the chat in his channel and stuff, and that's where the show that I'm on Saturdays with Vanessa and Amanda and Stippling Vaughn and sometimes Kay and Eric the Guapo, K Manifesto, that is. They wanted to do an award show to kind of show appreciation to creators and stuff, you know, like, and this is chat driven. Chats, for the most part, we each have a nomination, but chats nominate these creators for stuff like, you know, best colorist, best letterer, best writer, best single entertainer, best ensemble, stuff like that, you know, your standard things. And you know, last week we started the nominations, which it's a 2-part thing because there's a bunch of categories, and it's totally chat driven. Now, here's the hitch in the Post Kings EFAP, right? Now, keep in mind, this is not a situation where I'm yelling about Malin. I'm not, you know, he's got his point of view, and that's fine. He's totally entitled to him. And as a matter of fact, he was in fact correct on some of the things as far as like who qualifies and who doesn't. Because there were a couple that were kind of either gray area or maybe not quite right, but they got put in. The thing about the chat show is it's got a weird format. You know, most people, it's like the chat is there to see the creator, whoever, you know, is on panel. But the chat functions kind of like, you know, that panel is there to see the chat. The chat almost is like the host of the show, if you want to look at it that way. And the rest of us just kind of come in and sit and, you know, like see what the chat thinks about different things. And in this case, you know, like just like any pocket of CG, this particular chat is really going to like certain creators. Because, I mean, you know, you can go into different spots, crowdfunding, comics, CG, and you will have pockets Everybody knows this. Where, like, for example, if you're over in Europe, you in your CG that there might be a few over here you like, but you're gonna have your favorites that are over that you watch kind of over there. Hey, Michael DJ, welcome to the nest. I expected the insults, but was very disappointed in the soft call for brigading the chat and spiking our discourse. Dr. Crow says, what show is this? This is the chat on Saturdays on Danger Vanessa's channel. Now, so as far as the nominations, you had a lot in terms of Kelsey, some for Shane, quite a few for Renee, some for Kenneth Roquefort. And then there were a couple of EVS, a couple John Malin like things. Now, I feel like John, Shane, maybe Ethan, they're kind of looking at it like a popularity situation, right? Like, most sold, Ethan seemed to understand when who is Danger Vanessa? Oh, you got to be kidding, Dr. Crow. She's great. She runs the chat. She's the leader of that channel. She's actually on YouTube under Danger Vanessa. That's her channel, and she streams pretty much every Saturday. Most Saturdays, there's hiatuses. They do Sandwich of the Month. They talk about different things going on at CG. I'm usually there for most of the shows on Saturdays. Great time. Like, there's all these insults, these in-jokes, and she has all kinds of, like, she finds the funniest, weirdest music for her intros, and I have a great time on the show. A lot of great people. So back to so Ethan seemed to get it when they were doing the EFAP for the nominations. Now John, Shane, and a couple of the other onlookers, they're looking at, I think, maybe sales, maybe popularity, and this is just sort of a fun thing, positive thing for the chat to honor their favorites. If it were a popularity contest, really, it would be the same few artists every single year. It'd just be kind of a yearly time to stop and honor them. There wouldn't be any point in anybody else. There wouldn't even be point in nominations, really. But that's just what it is. We come in, you kind of just ask for nominations, and this chat decides, who they want to nominate. Now, see, that's the thing. Like, if you are not impressed with a big creator this year, even if they've had a great year, if you're not impressed with them as a person, you're probably not going to want to nominate them, right? So, as for my part, in my nominations, I knew a bit about, who was going to get nominated from other people. I mean, just I had a feeling, you know what I mean? Like Eric the Guapo is very, very impressed, as I was too, with King Cryptid. I kind of figured he'd want to nominate him. So I went other ways. I was trying a little bit more to get a couple other people on the radar. So I mean, I nominated Chad Townsend. I don't know that he hasn't really even been around that long, but I've been impressed with his stuff. And I wanted to maybe see a couple other sort of people on there. And Dave's right. There are some very small creators who are very worthy of the awards, or even, I mean, at least even to be mentioned, right? Because I mean, that's the problem is, like, sometimes they get lost in the nomination process. But that's not just, that's kind of comics, isn't it? I know Aaron at one point talked about, like, oh, who should draw, this kind of thing. And so many people were coming out for, like, Jim Lee, or like the top few that everybody thinks of. And I'm thinking, like, guys like Phil Noto that don't get in the conversation very much. These are professionals that nobody really thinks about. So I mean, it happens in mainstream too. You're going to have some just dominating names, and the others are going to get lost in the shuffle. It's sad, but it happens. But everybody's got their fan bases. So, anyways, I know John was a little upset because he felt that there were others that deserved these nominations and stuff more. So for like best value, like he feels like I suppose Ethan should have been right at the top of the list just because he sends a friggin' box with like a bunch of comics to you. Fair enough. But that's the trick. You want to get in there into the chat and you want to, voice that, because Vanessa was taking basically the top 20. The top 20 people that were kind of, except for her, obviously she didn't want the chat involved, which I'm okay with, and that was another problem with John, like people on the chat getting the nominations for stuff, which I will kind of explain a little bit what I think of that in a second. So we get these nominations done. He's going through. I think Ethan was upset about what Vanessa thought of his book. He was asking Vaughn and myself, and he doesn't like Eric Guapo much. That much is for certain. But he's asking Vaughn and myself what he did. Well, in my answer to that, let me answer this quick. Bristolian Dave says best value. Sure, there was a ton of stuff in the box, but by the time it actually gets to you, all the excitement's gone. Therefore, less value. Interesting way to look at it. I never actually would have thought of it that way. But hey, I mean, that's a perspective. I respect that. In terms of what he's done to me, absolutely nothing. See, that's the thing. Like, I am in a lot of other places, other nooks and stuff that really Ethan isn't. It's just one of those things where, it's not really. I don't really watch his shows. They're not really geared towards me, I don't think. And I honestly maybe look at Cyberfrog and Omnibus, but there are more interesting and immediate books to me that are out there right now. So I mean, I'm not really looking at that stuff. It's sad to say, but so he leaves, and I think a couple more people came in. Shane came in. There were a few others. Now Shane, the thing, he surprised me a little bit. Oh, J-Bot said he got Ethan's book off eBay. So, and I'm hearing more and more people talking about, like using that strategy, too, which, I mean, that's fine. Shane, the thing he was talking about, maybe it should be done, the stuff on polls on eBay, or I mean, on Twitter, and whatnot. But I know Shane's been in that chat a lot, and he knows kind of the dynamic of the show. He left so he didn't influence anything, which, that's fine. All right, could have stayed, he could have left. But he knows the dynamic of the show. The chat kind of controls the flow of the show. Heck, we've had a lot of different times. I can tell you a little inside baseball here. We've had a lot of different times where Vanessa's had these show notes and like these topics to talk about, and the chat's not having it. So they want to talk about other things. So guess what we do? We end up talking about those things because that's what the chat wants to talk about. Like that's sort of what we do. So Michael DJ says the chat nominates who they like. That's the point. If the big shots don't like it, they can run their own polls, which, I mean, like I said, it would really just kind of balance out to calling for brigading on the small fan channel is just mean girl BS, says Michael DJ. I'm hoping that, there's no, mean treatment, because I mean, that's true. This is really just for fun and just to show some appreciation to some of these creators that are liked. That John's chat had a problem with, Kenneth Roquefort's going to get this one too. But I mean, really, it's kind of known that chat really likes Roquefort. B, he was not allowed into some of the categories. They've got certain rules set up pretty much just for him to keep that from happening. And as a result, he's not able to just take a clean sweep, because that's just as useless. If it's just him him getting everything every year. Like, there's no point in putting the awards on. You could just maybe have a day to talk about how great he is. But the term simps came up because Irene got a lot, Kelsey got a lot, and Rocafort got some, and so the term simps came up. See, this is where I'm disagreeing here, respectfully as possible, of course. I mean, I'm not going to start any fights, or try not to start any fights, but they're fan groups, they're fans. That's what happens. John's got one of the, I would probably say, the most loyal and the most fervent. Is that a good fans in fan groups in Comicsgate? Like, they really are dedicated, right? They're not simps. I wouldn't call them. They are fans of John, and I don't see why Kelsey, Rini, Kenneth, they don't deserve that too. They don't deserve to have those ride or die fans. I think they do. They want to go on and talk about how great they are, then absolutely give it a go. Now, I mean, there gets to be a point where every fan group kind of gets in, and if the more fervent they are, I mean, the more of a headache it can potentially cause for the creator. So I know nobody really intends or wants to do that for the people that they like the most. Jbot says EVS, John, Shane, and those guys, the upper crust of CG, they're like the mainstream of CG, while the smaller creators are more like indie, in my opinion. Well, that's why I try to, I personally, for just my own like benefit, I separate them into like weight classes. I'm not talking like Ethan's fat or something like that. We're not saying that. I'm talking about like heavyweights. Those are the guys that bring in a lot of like 2,000-3,000 views per night, per stream. I mean, thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars campaigns. Thousands and thousands of people subscribing to their channels. That's the heavyweight. Then you got your mid card, and I'd say that's probably like under 100,000, but more than like 30,000 for your campaigns. Maybe mid lower 100,000s too, possibly. Depending on, but your campaigns. Then they've got decent people on their YouTube, but it's like higher interaction. You'd say somebody like Von Klaus, Rini, those guys are kind of in that grade. I mean, I'd even say, for all the amazing talent he has, Rocafort would probably be at this point in time kind of a mid card by himself, in terms of. And then you got the lightweights, which are your guys that do like say under 30,000 but more than like 10. Lower YouTube, but some all right interaction. They might have like 5 to 10 people a night, and then 200, 300 views or something like that. So it's your lower type stuff. And then you got your like welterweights, you got your featherweights or whatever. These are the guys just starting out. Maybe they do a campaign and they get like $9,000, $8,000. Their YouTube channel has 2-3 people watching. If I were a creator, I would probably put myself in that category, lowest of the low. Because that's kind of around where my channel and where I might think that my campaign would hit a few $1,000s with a busting my butt, and then my my streams are under 100 views every time, so I would definitely be like a feather welterweight type character, person, creator. I hope that's not offensive. That's about as low as, I mean, like not low as diplomatic as I can get, because I know some people don't like hearing the little guys, or the up and comers or something like that, especially when they've been doing it a long time. Michael DJ says, the one chuckle I got was being branded stupid. Nobody Rocafort simps. It just inspires me to wear Rocafort's t-shirts to our monthly Mensa meetings. Yeah, featherweights, Doctor. That's right. Well, I guess, I mean, shoot, excuse the bird puns. but that's how I rationalize it. I don't think you can have like you got small creators. I mean, there are some small quote unquote creators that have huge ideas. That are immensely talented. They just maybe not good at marketing, or they maybe just don't want to get out there. They just want to draw. They just want to, talk to people and draw. And I've kind of fallen into that a little bit myself. Dr. Crow says a 9K campaign, and here I am thinking I struck a big if I get 1K. I'm like, well, that's something to build. I think once you get your first campaign done, that's your bar. You either meet it, exceed it, or fall under it, right? But that's where your minimum goal needs to be. Michael DJ says it was the constant refrain all night. You see, I'm not 100% sure at the same time that all of this isn't kayfabe. I mean, not kayfabe, but I mean, like it's manufactured to either get views or get kind of something going. I just don't know, because that's kind of how it is sometimes with some of those, like the YouTubers that do YouTube. They will blow something like John. I don't believe John's a racist, but he does the character. Shane is, I don't, obviously he's not like a trailer park redneck type guy. He's posted how, nice house he's been able to, move into it with Yanzi and Terry. So, I mean, that's character. That's for fun. Now, I don't necessarily believe that these creators are in the back room saying, you know what we should do? We should get on and have like an internet slap fight and laugh while everybody's choosing sides and we're burning things down. Hey, Henry Bemis, welcome to the nest. I don't think that that's true. I think sometimes, emotions get hot and people take a break, but then they mend some fences because, maybe they genuinely like each other. I'm not 100% sure most would go to hey, my YouTube channel's suffering, we got to be friends again, sort of thing. I feel like that would almost earn like a screw you from the other person. But in terms of Kelsey, Rocafort, and Irene, like they are working very hard. They're working very hard, and I don't see bad interactions from absolutely any of them. Not really. Kelsey would be the closest, getting angry on stream at some of the stupid stuff that's happening. But past that, like he gets on his channel and he wants to laugh and talk comics and have fun, and I appreciate that. Irene's the same way. It looks like she really doesn't like calling people out. She's, from what I've seen, a peacemaker. And she does good work. Rocafort, shoot. Even in his streams, he just says hello, good morning, and then he keeps on going. I've never seen a negative thing from him, which I think is the most endearing. The guy can get there just on art alone, which, I mean, if you're an artist, that's the dream. Michael DJ says it may be manufactured, but last time I heard the insults like thrown at Eric, it ended in a bloody 4-way brawl. I don't remember hearing any insults, but yeah, in terms of, and I mean, when they're talking about, when this panel on Post Kangs was talking about the chat as they're watching it, this could be wrong, but I mean, they didn't really appear to be familiar with some of the stuff, which is fine, which is totally fine. I mean, they don't have to watch the show, but I mean, like, that's the thing. Like, things are going on this show for months and months, and then when they walk in and say, "What the heck is this?" It's understandable, but at the same time, you got to understand that there's a track moving here that they're not aware of. Bristolian Dave says they don't like Eric because he's honest about his opinions toward them. I haven't been following too much of that. I saw a little bit with Ethan and the whatnot there. I don't know how everybody else feels. I honestly, I don't know that it's going to have much of an impact on anything. Eric seems to be doing fine. I just saw that picture or that little trailer he released, an animated trailer for his next thing. Bemis says, I didn't watch the mail-in EFAP on the chat. I'm assuming they went scorched earth. Not so much scorched earth, but it seemed a little unnecessary to me. It didn't look like that Malin was even going to do it, but Ethan wanted to take a look. He wanted to watch a bit of it, and then I guess he got annoyed that like people he thought deserved it weren't nominated. I mean, well, he was more annoyed with just how Vanessa kind of but they're all kind of crying snubbed. Not all of them, but Mandy got on there. She said she felt she gets snubbed. Shane gets nominated quite a bit. Dr. Crow says, "Why should we care what others think of us? We're here to make books," and that is some of the creators, which is fine. I mean, but like I said, if it's a popularity contest, they win hands down every time. If it is a thing where fans come and they talk about, which I think that's what this is, right? It's you get in there. That's one thing I did like about John's show. He was talking about his favorites, and the chat was talking about their favorites. Some of them, it looked a little bit like a lynch mob, but I mean, like, the chat was talking about their favorites while they're e-streaming somebody, e-watching somebody that on a stream full of people talking about their favorites. In that respect, I like it. They're not going to agree, and that's fine. Like, okay, who are your favorites? So they talk about their favorites. Great. I like that. I like it a lot because, I mean, that's the point. Getting together and talking about your favorite people and maybe sending them a certificate saying, "We like what you're doing. Good job." The chat decided you're doing great. Bristolian Dave says, "I think the main problem is that CG now has many pockets. It's been fracturing for a long time, and sections that are not focused on the big guys." Yeah, that's true. I don't think they like that. It's absolutely true. If you go on Twitter and you mute, silence, or unfollow a couple people, regardless of who it is, just 2 or 3 people, 2 or 3 accounts can change your entire landscape for comics. It's uncanny how crazy that can be. Amanda says, "Most of it I was laughing. Some of it I was like, wait, that's taken out of context," which that's true. And then there were some disheartening parts, but it was expected for the most part. It was a mixed bag. I'm right there with you, Amanda. Bemis says, "A huge chunk of Malin and EVS chat are not big backers. Virtually everyone who watches the chat are big backers." That's a huge distinction. That's I mean, I've said this before, but Ethan, he talks a lot about, like, please read the books and tell us what you think. Please, he's really on that lately. And as far as a lot of these, the backers in the chat and stuff, they are talking about the books. You hope you're doing good, Amanda says, but then find out some think it's not. And that's another thing that's kind of weird to me. And I suppose it's a situation where, let me see how this looks like without the red. That's all right. I can fix that. I guess it must be that situation where you could go through a whole day and have all kinds of people compliment you, say you're great, and then there's this one person that says you suck, and you walk away remembering and thinking about that one person. Maybe that's kind of what it's like. For some of these bigger guys, they've got thousands of people in their chat talking about how awesome they are. And then, you have a very small, maybe a couple hundred people watching it saying, maybe they say, "Well, I'm not that impressed with this stuff." And that's what you remember. That could be it. Dave says, "I've had Wreck Planet for over 6 months and still haven't read it." I never backed it. I'm sorry. Metatron's Cube, welcome to the nest. The left hand looks like a right hand. Needs the palm line to put the thumb back. You are right. I was messing around with that for a little while. I'm going to go back to it. I just had to get rid of the red lines and stuff. 100%. So I'm gonna get in here and I'm gonna isolate this, right? Anyways, going back to that. So John's talking about doing awards again, like he did last year. He said the same thing. I'm gonna do some Golden Beanie Awards or what have you, and people were cheering him on. Nothing came of it. That's not what I Oh, I know it. I know it. I see it. I had the thumb on the wrong freaking. There we go. All right. But yeah, there was some things that I didn't agree with, and I think specifically it's really because that's the chat's show, and they in this case liked they were liking a lot of what like Irene and whatnot we're doing. So yeah, they maybe they like Kelsey a lot. I mean, I do. Shoot. God dang, this hand is getting more and more like what do you call it? The chat lore like Amanda's smooth silky legs sliding around on her central seat's really baffled them. The best part. Yeah, now that was my nomination, and here's why. Not to embarrass you, Amanda. I apologize for that if I if I made your face red. You did get a Perth thing out of it. But here's why I nominated that. Because I felt like there needed to be something in there that was 100% chat. Chat. It was going to be Spanish Pony, but that one I think was a little bit more memorable, right? So I felt like there should be something in there that was very specifically for the chat, for the people that watch the show, that they could say, "Yep, that's our moment." And that is very much it's a funny moment, and it wasn't as much what Amanda was talking about as how the chat and how Vanessa reacted. Like, she almost died. So does Stippling Vaughn. That was very, very memorable. So that's why I nominated it. It was very funny. It was very funny and very memorable. I think it's going to be a meme just in that chat for a while. Well, Dirty Fatty, welcome to the nest. Vanessa has said it several times. If you don't like their awards, do your own. Yeah, don't. Amanda says, it's okay, Stato. It's funny. And taken to the nth degree, it really is more innocent. Yeah, of course, it's more innocent than everybody's taking it. But I mean, like I said, like that's one for the chat. That's one for us. And, of course, they're going to have different memorable moments because they were there. They weren't there for that. Oh my gosh, this is. Are we talking? Can we talk ginger root hands for a minute? I'm succeeding spectacularly. Anyways, I might just have to cut this off. You know what? No, I got it. I know what I'll do. Get rid of this. This is only supposed to be a small sketch. Dang it. All right. Let me just get a. Okay, I think I got what my problem is. All right, so. Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, she's encouraged it. Go do some awards and honor the people that you like, or just heck, have a show where you talk about the people you like. There's not enough of that anymore. Dr. Crow says, seems to me we have a variety of factors in the recent uptick of drama and fracture. I'm feeling like it's a slower news day. I haven't noticed an incredible amount of drama lately, and I don't even really call this drama. There are some things that I kind of felt I would like to put my point of view in, but overall, I'm not really sensing a ton of drama. So the fractured factions and CG and the indie scene, I think this is a good thing, so we don't all become a big echo chamber. Well, it is true. You're 100% right in that. But the only thing that I would think is, like, when you fracture too much, then it just kind of falls apart on you. That's where I'm kind of looking at. Amanda says, I think EVS and Malin would have a much bigger part if they didn't have late books and responses surrounding it. It's true. They do put out good quality. It's the other stuff. And I think that's probably partly what the chat's responding to. I know that, and like John was saying, like D-Man's not an actual character; it shouldn't be there. It was kind of I suppose it was what do you call it? Like a joke nomination that made it in, maybe. But again, that's kind of the chat, and there were a couple that maybe we got wrong, and it was under investigation, and they just decided to leave it in. Fair enough, but they're not going to be perfect, these awards. Not by a long shot. It's okay. It's supposed to be for fun, and again, it's supposed to maybe bring a couple more views in on the channel, but just to have fun and talk about. At least that's how I take it. Talk about the artists and what they're doing. Like what do you like? Who do you like? Are you all day, about Malin? Are you all day about Kelsey? Are you thinking, the only one you give a crap about is Rocafort? Like, and even so, yeah, D-Man is more known than his other characters. He mentioned like what happens if they could nominate Godlike or whatever the character is, but like nobody knows anything about that character, and he's not out yet. The book's not out yet, so maybe. Henry Bemis says, agreed, Amanda. I'm a huge fan of both their art, but there has been some negativity that makes it difficult to judge blindly. Yeah, even if it is a spoof character, Metatron's Cube says. So if we really wanted to take this seriously, right, there would be stipulations on like if the character's in a book, if the book is in people's hands, or completely done fulfilling. Like there are a lot of logistical things that you could go through if you wanted to really, make this like. But that is a ton of work. I mean, a ton of work. And that's probably why nobody has actually done like an award show themselves, because it is a ton of work. You gotta make sure every fact is right. And here we're just really just having fun doing this. All attention to some good stuff. Again, that's my take on what it is. Just like when Breaking Rad was doing the CGWF stuff, that was fun to call attention to their favorite creators and to their channel. It's not intended to hurt anybody's feelings. But, when somebody gets on a stream and says, oh, this sucks, these people were snubbed and stuff, it probably will have more of a shot at hurting somebody's feelings. So that's... Dave says, I'm sick of the drama. I'm sick of unprofessionals. I'm sick of the rule making. Right. And as far as the award goes, of course, it's got to have some rules. We all know this, but I mean, so it's not just like a crazy, but yeah, as far as the rules, as far as CG goes, I get what you're saying. Amanda says, hindsight, I don't think that should have made it. Maybe rules changed for next year. We'll talk about that later, of course, in the writer's room. But he has drawn D-Man more than his other characters. Well, at least released publicly. You're right about that. Michael DJ says, who cares if it's wrong? It's what we did. Don't like it? Don't watch. Definitely don't say you know what to do after firing up your audience for an hour. Utter BS. Yeah, I kind of wonder if this coming Saturday, is going to be a little bit of a different vibe than the first half. Whether there will be more people watching, which, I mean, what John did was he whether inadvertently or intentionally, called it out for the next, for part 2, for people to come in and watch. Whether this is going to be a drawn and quartered situation where he's nominated and sweeps every single category, I don't know. What, they might not decide to go that route, but Henry Bemis says it works both ways as well. It's difficult to temper my appreciation of Rocafort and Kelsey's work and judge that blindly too. Yeah. Which, I mean, like I said, with Kenneth, with Rocafort, I mean, the guy, I talked about his draw streams at the top of the hour. He gets on there, he says, hello. Hi, I'm going to do some sketching. And then he quietly sketches for like an hour, maybe, pointing out something like, oh, I need to find a brush or something like that. And then welcomes people as they come in. Hey, good morning. Welcome. Thank you for watching. And then that's it. There's no negativity, but I mean, you also have, I think there is this, it's been kind of going for a while, but this like YouTube versus art situation. You've got the people that say you need to put on a show, you need to not be boring. And then there are the other people that say, what about the art? What about drawing? What about, just being yourself? And of course, in their nature, these teams are these groups are almost opposed by nature. You've got the kind that, Vanessa, welcome. Dr. Mask, or not Dr. Mask. Where do we go? Dr. Crow, if you're still here, this here is Danger Vanessa. She runs the channel we've been talking about. Always great to see her. Where is it? Oh yeah, so those groups, you got the kind that like really want art, really want kind of serious talk, comics, talking about creators, talking about books, and then you've got the YouTube crowd that are like, that's kind of boring. We got to bring pop culture in. We got to bring, we got to speak our mind and yell at people and make fun of people, kind of stuff, just to make it fun. We got to drink on stream. We got to, the types. To make it fun. It's a little bit more usually of an adult entertainment place. And I don't mean like adult like porno, but I mean like, just adult themes and language used and stuff like that. Because if you go in there with really clean humor, the clean puns that might work in some shows, it'll be boring on those shows. Okay, good. Dr. Crow says he's not here. Take note, everybody. So really what you've got is these two audiences almost kind of jockeying for not dominance, but relevance. I think 80% of the problems we've got are people fearing being irrelevant. Because, Graham Nolan could go away for 2-3 weeks and then come back and it would be like he never left. People are not going to forget about him because, he's worked on his book and stuff like that. Same for any of the bigger guys. Like, they might not be making that immediate money on the channel, but they will not be forgotten. And Kelsey is your perfect example. Like, he can be gone for months and then he comes back and people are like, Kelsey, yes. He's going to be okay. He'll be there. I always laughed how he'd talk about like everybody would say like, where did you go? And it's just like, I'm living my life. But if you're monetized, of course, that's money. That's money, and that's algorithms not favoring you at that point. So I could see where that might be a little bit of a concern for people where that's like their income, right? There we go. So as far as that goes, there was a lot of stuff. I respect his opinions. Not 100% sure if some of it was kayfabe, but I disagreed with quite a bit too. Like, I've said it before, the simp thing, being somebody's fan, loving their work and wanting them to do really well. That's not a simp thing. That's being a fan. And I just kind of shake my head at that kind of thing. The people that have watched that are in that chat know that kind of the chat dictates a lot of the show. So saying, you need to bring it onto YouTube or onto Twitter doesn't make a lot of sense because the show is designed specifically for that chat. The people that are in that chat watching that show at that particular day. Otherwise, Sandwich Saturday would have to be done on Twitter. And that's a lot of figuring out. If you did it with just in the 15-minute poll there, you would have hardly anybody even knowing about it before it closed within the 5 to 10 minutes we do on the show, and of course, if you left it open longer, you're going to have wildly different results because you've got a huge number of people that are not on the show, not watching the show, voting. It does defeat the purpose, I think. So so in that respect, I was a little like shaking my head a little bit. Sad to see. It was really sad to see. So I thought I would come on with with this today and just kind of give my thoughts on that, because as the person on the chat that probably speaks maybe the least, I mean, in terms of like actually talking about stuff, I bring my jokes. I got jokes, but but past the jokes, like, I mean, I don't. I like to give the breadth of the floor, like a wide berth to the rest of the far more intelligent panelists to kind of speak their mind, and of course, you got to have a lot of room for the chat itself to sit and talk. Because we know I can talk. I'll sit and talk. But hey, Citizen Ronan, welcome to the nest. Glad to see you. In terms of that, that's kind of, I think I've gone through everything that I wanted to talk about that. Got your perceptions on it. Thought what you guys thought. It's not something I'd like bring up and try to EFAT myself, because that's a 3-hour long show, and I think I watched a bunch of it on 2 times speed. Listened to it on 2 times speed. Because they didn't spend the entirety of the thing on it, but there was quite a bit. And towards the end, it started to get kind of into the show is boring. Oh my gosh, we got to continue to listen to this sort of stuff. And the people that watch it, they don't find it boring. They're awesome chats, and that's just it. It's you've got 2 different types of people that are kind of encamped here in Comicsgate. You've got people that back books, talk about books, love that kind of stuff, and then you've got people that love the YouTube and will back the books just to kind of keep that relationship going as long as possible. The ones that really like to party have a 5-hour stream just to kind of be able to hang out and talk to people. And I understand that too, like being part of something bigger. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's almost like opposed in nature. So yeah. But I thought the chat deserved, there was a little bit of explaining, like the sheets thing. That's one for us. That's one for our show. It was a memorable moment. It did count. And we got a bunch of other memorable moments in there too. And I think Amanda might have said something about it. Like, it's tough because some of the older moments that were really great and memorable, you're not really gonna, they're not gonna come to the forefront unless somebody was keeping track, or somebody like Comicsgate is Comics Great is keeping track of that kind of thing. But in terms of the last few months, I think we got a pretty decent lock. Ooh, that's pretty decent lock on events. Let's see if I'm going to try to do some inking over this just to see. I don't like the pencil, to be honest. Admit that line. But yeah, it was tough. I did feel like streaming last night, but I decided against it because, again, there's a lot of good stuff on. I watched a little bit of it. I watched some Pete. I watched over on Jeremy Fire and Ice, LCH. He was rewatching Brides of Dracula. It's a great flick. So I sat there and watched that with them for a little while. Oh, Michael PG says, so memorable that Amanda's silky legs are an entire movie in my head. My goodness, Michael, settle down. Pull over for a second. Hold up. Amanda's laughing and with a little sweat there, like. We could try to get the Spanish Pony back on track, Amanda. It's okay. That can remain the the mascot. Yeah. It's just one of those weird things where you get, oh, those public domain streams on Jeremy's have been fun. That's, yeah, it's just kayfabe, man, sure. That's the funny thing about that movie that they were watching the other day. I'm not 100% sure that was a public domain, but I know there are a lot of them on YouTube. However, Wooly's had some trouble with that. You know, Wooly, William Hazel, our pal of the show here, he's tried a couple, and it's been a weird thing where, like, you know, he'll have one and it'll be public domain, but it's going to be copywritten in some, you know, like Bulgaria or something like that. Which is just really weird. Or whoever it is that has the print. That's important too. Like, you know, people put prints out and they put their own little stamp on it, and then that's theirs. So if you are playing this print and it happens to be theirs, they can get you for it, even though the movie itself is public domain. You know, somebody might have pulled that print and you can't use that one, you know. So there is that to consider. But it was a lot of fun. I had a good time watching that movie with them. I hadn't seen it in years. I think I have it on DVD. Had some cool commentary, some facts, you know, I didn't know about. A lot of love for those lady vampires. Oh, I was wondering what the crappy glare was on the. Yeah, sometimes, you know, if you affect the speed in which it's played or the picture and make it not perfect, it's a lot more forgiving in terms of it staying up, because you are screwing it up, you're altering it, which, you know, could make it I guess technically that could be considered another print if you screw with it and put it up. But if it's just going up as it is, like you rip it from a DVD or something like that, that particular studio that put that DVD out could claim ownership of that. That's their property. That's why they have, you know, like watermarks. That's why they have like their little, like, you know, whatever video at the head of the movie, so that they can say that's ours. This particular one's ours. We got it. You know, maybe they'll change the contrast or something slightly on the print, make it a little darker, a little bit lighter. They could trim it by 3 or 4 seconds, you know, and call that theirs. There's a lot of weird things that they can do. You can do, like, to take something that's a public domain and take it for yourself. You know, think Bill Willingham with Fables, how he did it. You know, that stuff is all copywritten. Well, I mean, he put it in the public domain, quote unquote, but DC's has some stuff to say about that. I totally got used to the glare. Yeah, me too. It's almost just like sunlight streaming in. You know, I almost missed it when they had to show the ending from a different source, right? And that ending was like kind of pixely. So, but yeah, that's probably why it stayed up, because it had that sunlight kind of effect on it. And the vampires didn't die or nothing, huh? But I woke up today and I was actually really, really excited because, you know, between watching that, you know, the chat award show that I thought went pretty well, actual show itself, seeing Kelsey's stuff lately, the Kenneth stuff, getting to see that preview of those books. I feel like there's a lot to be happy for, a lot to be thankful for in comics right now, you know? That's exciting to me. That, you know, I'm seeing right now more positive than negative. You know? So I will take it. I will take every bit of that. A win is a win as far as I'm concerned. I don't... Somebody said earlier, I want to say it was... never stream against a Hammer film, Citizen Ronan says. Somebody up here, I wish I could remember, said that, you know, they don't watch much of the big guys anymore, and I usually watch that stuff on replay, because, I mean, you know, when you got a couple hundred people in the chat, it is really, really hard to interact because the dang thing is going so fast, and a lot of times the chat is trying to talk and react to whatever it is that's going on screen, or what the hosts are saying, hoping to get kind of a shout out. So nobody's really talking back and forth with you about stuff unless they telling you shut up. So in some, only in some places. Yeah, Bristolian Dave loves a good public domain DVD release, right? Because they're like what, a few pence, a few quid, $5 over here. Citizen Ronan says, you would think that if you rent a movie on YouTube, you should be able to do a watch stream. It's no different than rent a movie and have your friends over. It's just well, I mean, that's, you rent that movie and then you put it out and then hundreds of people can see it without renting it. I feel like they'd have a big problem with that. Although I get your meaning. Henry Beavis says, I'm keeping one eye on Graybeards because they have Larry Strong. I saw that. Oh, is that playing right now? Are you serious? Is Graybeards going right now? Am I streaming over that? No, it is, isn't it? Holy crap. Guys, I think I might just... What do you think? Should I do a second prompt, or should I cut you loose so you can go watch Graybeards today and kind of fully invest in that? Blast it! I didn't realize that they were going right now. I don't want to stream over them. I don't want to, be that guy. Let's stream snipe. How dare me? I know, right? Stream snipe. Let's take a look. See what they're up to here. I'll just all right. Let's have a look, real quick. This is the first time I've ever done this. So we got Larry Stroman here, right? We got Kelsey here, of course. Let's full screen that. We got Gary Martin, of course, keeping an eye on the chat. David Williams. Aaron looks like she's... Oh, they're doing X Factor. Okay, so it looks like... Can I see anything? I bet that's Polaris. He's got to be... so Aaron's got to be working on Polaris. David's got... it looks like Quicksilver. Kelsey's doing like a bunch of them. Look at him. He's overachieving. He's like taking on like a crap load of them right there. And he'll probably finish before everybody else too. I don't see. Oh, let's see what Stroman's got here. Oh, he's doing Strong Guy. Okay, cool. Oh, I can't wait to watch this whole. Let's see what their chat's saying. Oogie Boogie, great character. Stroman, hello. Oh, did they just start? Oh, they've been going an hour. They've been going almost as long as I am. I didn't even realize it. Ha! How do you like that? Watch party. J-Bot says, Henry Moose says, zero politics, zero hurt feelings. That's why Graybeard's such a great show. I agree. I don't ever see arguments and stuff like that on there. I see just people happy, talking, having a great time, drawing and talking comics. That's the goal, I think, for a lot of people, to have a great kind of atmosphere and stream like that. I gotta finish this thing up, then I gotta turn you guys loose. If that's, like, I know a lot of you guys like watching that show. I know a lot of you guys are like, over. Hey, Stippling Vaughn, welcome to the nest again. Half an hour behind the show. It all sounds on point, Bird. Thank you. I appreciate you. Yeah. Started the show talking about Rocafort and how awesome his streams have been for me. Chad Townsend, how great his book's looking, how much I like his art. We talked about Post Kangs. We got us a sketch done here of a head cheese slicer. Dude's he's about ready. He's about ready. He's looking like he's gonna enjoy it. We gotta put some sort of a little caption in here, right? He's waited his whole life for this moment, which says a lot. He's waited his whole life to slice that head cheese. Okay, so that is Head Cheese Slicer, brought to you by 10-8 Comics. Couldn't have done it without you, because I Didn't have the prompt from myself. Okay, so that's that. We're at about a minute or an hour and 20. So I guess I'll leave it up to you guys. If you want to keep on going, we can do, what's the next one? The next one is called Feast by Zach, or we can save that for a later time. You guys go watch Graybeards. This day of 1st of November, day after Halloween. First day of quote unquote Christmas for so many people. You know what? I think it's about an hour and 20. I'm going to probably cut the show because I've got, what is this? This is going to be 4 hours and some odd time left after this. So we'll probably maybe do tomorrow. We'll do a shorter episode. We'll get that feast one out of the way. Maybe have some more talk about all of the random wonderful things that are going on in the world of comics. And I will leave you to the rest of your day. Thank you very much, you 9 to 11 people that came in to talk, to lurk, to give your point of view. Henry Beavis says, I blame myself for bringing up Graybeards. Don't. That makes actually a better reason to cut off, because I had to cut it by at an hour and 30 anyways. This particular drawing took a bit longer than it should have, but that's okay. We got us a good talk in. Yeah, I got to keep these two. It's either 3 hour-and-a-half long episodes or a few more shorter episodes. And you guys have been great, so I didn't want to leave you. So I will let you go and have a great day. Thanks for watching, and I will see you when I see you next.